It is not an overstatement to say that we as a society do not care if they're good guys, if they're bad guys, or even if they're that we are addicted to superheroes as a genre. Quite literally, these characters have such a ground stomping effect on our culture daily. Like deadass, I'm one of the biggest examples. At one point, I was a whole ass anime YouTuber, and I somehow slipped and fell into becoming a whole animation superhero genre covering type of YouTuber. But I don't know if I would have ever had the exact same effect if I never got caught up in the Infinity War and Endgame hype train. Like if you were a teenager during that time, you know the cultural shake that Infinity War and Endgame was hitting is no one knew what was gonna happen next after Thanos snapped his gauntlet and erased half of our favorite heroes. And of course, movies like Iron Man, Avengers, Batman vs. Superman were all huge bangers at the time. At least at the time for the superhero genre, there was no movie that brought the average person together like Infinity War and Endgame did. I had tickets for the late Thursday night preview, and I dead serious remember kids betting about who was gonna die and survive post this weekend in the Avengers universe. Kids that dead serious did not care about Marvel or the MCU like that, but maybe have seen the average film here and there. They were all theorizing about this movie. Promise you, the iconic scenes such as Captain America picking up his hammer for the first time, and Captain America is truly calling out the Avengers Assemble left earthquakes in the theater, bro. You can go and look up live reactions on YouTube right now to see just how much those moments were truly rumblings for people that were truly just sitting there and watching. Like, you cannot tell me the post-Infinity War Endgame effect did not leave appetite starving for more superhero fiction. It was just a huge finale for the Marvel universe at the time, and it drawed in way more. Also, during these years, there was stuff running simultaneously like the CW verse of DC superheroes, and you'd be surprised by how much of the average person was just watching this show at home, like on a casual basis. Shows like The Flash, Arrows, Legends of Tomorrow was just a lot of people's after work show when they came home on like a Friday or Wednesday night. And a lot of these shows at the same time were setting up for their finales, and they were ending as DC was starting to figure out what they were doing with a lot of their properties at the time. But basically, post the CW verse and the MCU's first chapter conclusion, shows like And The Boys, you could argue, helped fill that gap as the MCU was getting started rolling out their Disney Plus shows and their new projects in their phases, and the DC Universe had fully restarted rolling out their new projects as well. Invincible and The Boys hit the ground, and they were just running from those first seasons coming out. It was superhero fiction, but it was gritty, it was real, it was raw. Something that the live action properties definitely did delve into a few times, but the consequences in these shows just felt so much more real, with mortality being shown to us like front face level. Scenes in their first few episodes let us know that Invincible and The Boys were going to be very different shows than what we've experienced with previous cinematic superhero universes. And they filled the gap as those universes got restarted and expanded. It was a very different shift, and honestly a very welcomed contrast compared to what we were used to our superheroes doing when they were fighting each other. And now you can honestly say where we're at in 2025, superhero fiction is genuinely firing on all cylinders right now, from stuff like Creature Commandos and the new Superman movie coming out, which Creature Commandos ended up performing way better than people expected. It was really cool, edgy superhero fiction. And the MCU edging even closer to its next big real event with Doomsday coming out, and Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man performing well in Captain America Brave New World. And don't even get me started on the hype people have going into Fantastic Four. And we have to talk about how ridiculous it is that The Boys and Invincible are both going on to 3+ seasons at this moment. People are consuming superhero fiction at an all-time high, and they're consuming it more than that. At a point, it really felt like we may have came to a plateau with the MCU slowing down and the CW verse, like I mentioned, but shows like Invincible and The Boys helped carry the torch until the whole genre was back and running, and that's honestly pretty raw for superhero fans and people that just love superhero fiction. I'm honestly just hyped to see where all of this peaks, and to see if we honestly get tired of superhero fiction and it just levels out. Let me know what you think, but I honestly feel like we are truly addicted to superheroes. My name is Time Pizza, and I will see you pizza people on the other side of the slice. Peace.